Well, YouTube, Ronin Kaze, boy, late on that. Not good. Star Wars The Old Republic. You've seen the first 2 parts of this mission. My master's sick. I'm a Jedi Counselor. Hey, if you would like to like, subscribe, share, unsubscribe, resubscribe, I'd appreciate it. If you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee or support the channel, I'd really appreciate it. The idea was, not going to worry about what the idea was, but I'd appreciate your help. Okay, so this is mission 3 of this. And so I'm a Jedi Counselor. I just got off the beginner planet. I went to the first planet. My mentor is being controlled mysteriously. I cut that part out because it's kind of long, and I made some changes. Got rid of nameplates and those kind of thing in the flying text, so you can just see the battle. So previously, I'm looking for these Noeticons, and these things have Jedi Masters that have been stored in there, and they're trying to help find a cure. So I got to find the 3rd one. Coincidentally, how Star Wars works, when you go to a new planet and you're having a mission, it unfolds in these different areas of the map, right? So it's just a convention to get you to go over the whole map. And each class will go to the planet with a different map. You might go to the same areas, but you'll go to a different unlocked section. Now, if you already know Star Wars The Old Republic, you'll say, you said you're a Jedi Counselor. How come you don't have the double-bladed lightsaber? Double-bladed, yeah. Well, I was previously a subscriber, and so I got the tank version of the Sith, and it got stuck with that, so I'm with the Sith tank skills. Some nice things you can do about Star Wars The Old Republic. You can cosplay and put on all kinds of different outfits, and then you can also change the color of your lightsaber and those kind of things, and the weapons you fire and all that stuff. So there's a lot of customization. And recently we talked about Guild Wars 2, where they're coming up with new graphics and they put some more information into it. And Star Wars always has kind of some new patches coming out. And I don't know if this is a game that long term, after I played all 8 classes, would I keep doing it each class like level 50, or when you get the second half of your story completed. And at that point, you may have an affinity for the game, and there's more stories as you go on that are awesome. But those stories kind of funnel you into your characters doing it. It's no longer your class is doing it. And that's what is unique about Star Wars The Old Republic. Also, I'm playing this on a Mac Mini with crossover. So that's fantastic, right? So previously on Guild Wars The Old Republic, I turned everything up. There's an ultra past high, or highest quality. There's even like immortal graphics. I turned that on. Mac Mini runs it fine. I'm having a tough time getting the Mac Mini to run the Division 2. Now, this is an MMORPG, so there's a live person. And so we're going to team up for a little bit. And you might have seen my Guild Wars 2 video where some of us just randomly group up, and you don't have to make a group or anything. And so me and this guy will help fight things. I'm more of a kill everything as I go along, because I'm always trying to get XP. This person's trying to just get to the end and where they can do their mission. I don't mind stopping and fighting. Another great thing about Star Wars The Old Republic, you get a companion that's just not any companion. You unlock more companions in your missions, but your story mode will unlock people that you convert to your side during your missions, which is great. The other opportunity about Star Wars The Old Republic, why I like to show it to you guys, because it gives us a chance to talk about kind of what this channel is about. Things don't always reconcile. Things don't always meet. So the Sith and the Jedi are both Force users, but they come at it at 2 different directions. And so that's important to realize, that both of you in your life think about in a relationship. In one sense, you both are fighting for the same thing or working for the same thing, but you both had different ideas on how to do it and how to carry that out. And I've been married for a while, and I still am constantly learning. And I want you to think about this. Over the time in your life, you're going to change and grow and go in and out of different ideas. So you may figure out your spouse at one point, but they're constantly changing. When I first had my last son, I noticed that a lot. Like one week I could burp him a certain way, and the next week that didn't work, and it was always constantly changing. But in reality, everyone's always constantly changing. So I was naive in that part to think there was only just kids, and as we get to be adults, we get solidified. We don't, or calcified. And maybe some adults do, but I don't think that's ever good. They say as you get older, you get more conservative, and partly, why is that? Is there a gene that turns out? I think you've made so many mistakes in your life and you've seen the consequences that you try to, divert, stop those dead-end choices from hurting you, because it takes longer to recover generally when you're older. Your heart, for sure, is not as pliable. Things hurt you a little bit more. But I'd also say no matter what, you got to have that flexibility anyway. So no one's asking you to compromise your morals. You shouldn't compromise your morals. But also you should realize you're not the only person. And so you don't define everything. So I was trapped. I came here in the mission and he said, it's right over there, darn it. And so they sent me, this is a trap. I got to do a riddle to get out of here. And so I told you about this game specifically is the one that changed my attitude towards Jedi and Sith. When I think of a goody-goody Jedi, I think of a Jedi Counselor like my first time. I wanted to play a double-bladed character. That was my main. And I couldn't stand her because her voice was so goody-goody. I couldn't stand her voice, and it made me stop wanting to play her because I'd selected the light side, but it was just so corny and syrupy and stupid. Because life is never like, I'm only going to make light side choices always. You can do that, but that's artificial. That's just you saying, I'm voting the straight ticket. In the state of Michigan where I live, you can just, at the top of the ticket, at the top of the voting, you can just say, I want everyone on this side. Honestly, I don't know of a lot of people that know all the regents at the colleges and all the clerks, and does it matter if there's one clerk on the ballot or you're not? I mean, some of it's, contrivance. For sure, when politicians do not do what they promise or they do crazy wackadoodle stuff, then we want to know and we want to get them out. That's it for politics, YouTube. So Star Wars gives us a good reference to talk about how those situations might be impactful in our life, how we might be forced with changes or choices, and then we have to think about how we're going to come out of it. Ultimately, it's never as bad, right? We overhype both the past and the future. And I was listening to a short. I have a big thing against free will. That's one of my constant things. Do we have free will? And one of the arguments against free will before the James Webb telescope and all this other stuff was that we know everything that happened from the Big Bang forward. It's determined. You can trace all the particles back to that one spot. Now, it's really easy to counter that because, number one, predict which electron is getting released off a radioactive material and when it's going to do it. You don't know. It's random. Think about disk drives and disk drive failures. Sorry, YouTube. And those are all random. There's a MTB, a mean time between failures. There's a bracket, but they don't know when those drives are going to fail because there's random stuff. So that's kind of the foundation I try to lay, that we can have these free will because everything isn't determined. And when you delve deeper into it, and I'm not going to go into the whole argument because I got plenty of videos on that, but we also know that your hormones or your hunger, you can go on a hunger strike, right, for how many days, and you can probably kill yourself going on a hunger strike. So someone that would argue that, you can't go against your body. Obviously, if you stop breathing, you can't, there's some circuits inside you that are just going to push you on. And I would probably say, if you could extinguish yourself that easily, that might not be free will anyways, but I'd have to think about it. Now we're getting into super nuance. Now, I finally got out of the cube, and I'm like, yo, bro, in the Sith, I'm going to find this Sith that's causing all this. And this guy's working for the Sith, and I'm going to smoke him. Now, one of the things, when I turn off all those health bars and everything, I have no idea what's going on. So, like, I'm every once in a while checking to make sure that I'm not dying for no reason to this scrub. I also like in Star Wars Old Republic, I can change the camera. So I'm trying to give you a view. I've zoomed in about 130 so you don't have to see a lot of the junk on the screen. So you can kind of get a cinematic feel for what's going on. I couldn't find the other thing before. I can't find the Noeticon now, so I'm going to look all over, and eventually I find it. There's a marker on the screen, but I can't find it. I don't know if it's good or bad, but Star Wars Old Republic got rid of the mini-map, and it has that mini-map you see on the right, and I kind of pushed it over far on the right. It's okay. Sometimes it's great, because if you're using it for driving, it's great. Sometimes it's not so great. Quick update on me. I took my Asus Flow X16 into the shop. Guy said it's DOA. Kind of thought it was DOA, so I bought, and I will let you know what I got, but I bought something where I could just take the RAM off. I had 64 gigabytes, so I threw that in there, threw a bunch of SSDs into a PC, and now I have a new PC that was pretty low cost. And I underpowered it to 30 watts because, my big thing is, I think it goes up to 54 watts, maybe 65, but I limited it to 30, and I'm going to see how that works. Why am I gimping myself? Just kind of my idea, can you live in 30 watts? Kept a small Windows 11 partition, but everything else is installed. I'm booting into CatchEOS, and this is going to be the Linux part of this discussion. So yesterday I'm getting some food. I'm listening to, I'm scrolling through. I'm getting this new computer. How does it work with CatchEOS OS? And I get a guy said, I'm going to choose between Catchy and Manjuro. What's it called? Manjurno, whatever it's called. And he said why you shouldn't get either. And listen, I've installed Catchy now on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 devices and reinstalled it a shitload of times. Installed it on a handheld PC that's a Gamer Legion Go. Installed it on really old PCs like, trying to think what processor's old, and I put it on this new PC I have, and if I could put it on the Mac, I put it on the Mac, and I've been using it on a G14 Asus. Just installed. The guy gave all these use cases. It's hard, and then the thing I like about it is this is what I'm going to tell you. You're going to be updating it all the time. That's just what you're going to do, and you should do that. It's going to keep you in practice. It's not going to hurt you. You're going to click on a button, click Y, hit enter, and then hit enter, and then you're done, and you might reboot. The other thing, if you're recommending this to people, find out, technical nerds don't deal with people, so it's hard for them to figure out what a user case is. I was in technical stuff, and then I became a salesperson because I'm probably more salesy than more techy. I can kind of do both. That's Roxy grunting down there. God only knows what she's doing. But what is someone going to do? If they're going to go on Chrome and they're going to go check their Gmail and they go watch YouTube TV or then all you got to do, I just loaded Catchy on this new PC. I went to YouTube. I put it on YouTube TV to get the screen to stay on. And it said, you don't have the DRM, and there was a button. If you hit this button, I'm in Firefox right now. Normally I load Brave. I click the button and YouTube TV's working. It's not what's that Cranberry song? In your head. In your head. In your head. They're still fine. It's not about the operating system. It's about what you do with it. And I see all this stuff. The next year is going to be the year for the desktop. How about you just go on something and use it? If you get your mom or your dad on it, all they care about is to run their browser. Last story before I go, I'll make it real quick. I dated a woman once. She didn't use her computer for anything, her laptop for anything. I said, you should get an iPad and just do all your stuff on your iPad. She got the iPad, said, I can't do my Print Shop Pro. For those of you that are old codgers, you know what Print Shop Pro is. Lady, no one uses Print Shop Pro, but she wasn't ready to embrace the future. So I dumped her, YouTube. Sorry, person. But if you are so stuck in the past, you probably don't want someone like me. So that's it, YouTube. Ronin Kaze, new computer, Star Wars Old Republic. Got one more. I'm getting ready to fix my master. Bye.